Hello guys, and welcome to another one of my Fortnite videos. In this video here I am sharing my testing out, my thoughts, my review of the Noble Launcher, the new energy weapon launcher that we have in the game. My argument is that the way the Noble Launcher works right now makes it the single most important weapon you can have in the game, the best explosive weapon, beating every other weapon completely out of the park. This isn't related to anything you can really see about the perks, about the comparison damage and options for the weapon. It is something I discovered a little late while playtesting it, but let's dig into what it says here. Neon heavy that fires a wave of piercing energy can be fired normally for a narrow half tile wide pulse, or charged for a 1 tile wide or 1.5 tile wide blast. Deals energy damage, which is fairly effective against all types of elemental enemies. In this description we find the thing that makes this Noble Launcher the best. It says wave of piercing energy. That is the thing. When I read that, I thought, alright, it is gonna penetrate enemies. It is going to be able to take out multiple enemies. Yeah, it does that, but that's not all it does, not at all it does. If we look into the base stats of it and compare it to some other things such as a snowball launcher, you really can't get a good idea about what you're getting DPS wise for this, just as you can't with the other explosives, because it's an area of effect damage weapon. The important thing that you can see is that it has a crazy range, and it has a decent durability, and you can look into the reload time and the fire rate. You can also of course look into the critical hit chance, the critical hit damage, because those are also things that change on the weapons. But in terms of this Noble Launcher, we have fixed perks, so it is kind of like the same thing for everyone out there. It has a relatively small impact compared to something such as the Dam Buster, and less damage than that. It does not have the same critical options as that, so this here is a completely different type of weapon than what we can really see on the other rocket launchers, the other explosive weapons. Again, just as we did with the Easter egg launcher, we're getting something completely unique, that even though we can compare stats with other weapons, because of course we can, we have the comparison, it just doesn't really give much insight into how are we gonna benefit from using this weapon compared to another, because we're getting completely new strategic options with this game. It is gonna change the way a lot of people play Storm Shield defense missions, Atlas missions, pretty much any mission out there. You're gonna be playing likely in a different way with this weapon, depending of course on how easy it is for you to craft, because it does break pretty fast. You have a 30 durability on it. This means 30 shots fired, so that's a thing, you know, you can fire it 30 times. What I'm sharing here is the very first time I fired the Noble Launcher, testing it out in a 94 radar mission, trying to figure out how does it work, what is the penetration, what about this affliction damage over time, how about headshotting with it, you know, just getting a good feel about. One thing is reading what is the reload time on the weapon, another thing is like experiencing it in battle to find out when I'm gonna be using this for real. How's it gonna be working out? What if I wanna aim for something that is moving in the air somewhere else? How is it going to, like, how large a projectile do I need in order to, with my aiming skills, and it's no secret they're not the best in the world, but how do I need to focus, how do I need to play with this weapon in order to properly use it in the game? So it took me of course a few games to really get myself shot into how it works. Wanted to test out the range, what does it mean? And it's a pretty freaking long range. It's not like sniper crazy, I mean it does have that crazy long range, but it appears that the projectiles, I feel like it isn't really moving as fast as it should, but it is crazy long. The first very important thing about this weapon here is the charge up. It allows you to generate this 1.5 field wide feed of death, doom and destruction that just annihilates things in its path, dealing energy damage. So you're not getting this 50% damage reduction from anything, you're just dealing good base damage to everything, and that alone makes this a rocket launcher I feel everybody should have, because it's a good starting up weapon, being able to deal damage to everything in your path. I didn't really seem to be getting any like headshot extra damage while I was trying to test it out for that, and it was something like I can test that pretty easily because we're just hoarding through gazillions of hordes of mobs with this penetrating, piercing damage. It is of course affected by the debilitating shots, by the vulnerability stacks, which means that when playing a soldier that has these options, you're going to be dealing more and more damage when you attack it multiple times, the same husk. And this here is how I would normally play with a weapon like this, around the corner. Another important thing is, of course, that it ignites propanes. So that's a thing that is very important. It ignites propanes. Even if you shoot them in the feet, you're gonna ignite the propane flask. That makes it pretty... like, you need to think about how you use it in relation to base defenses, storm shield defenses, anything where you build things you don't want to have breaking, because the moment you ignite something, it's a bad thing. I'm trying to use it out here with the Shamrock Reclaimer, and as you can see, the 20% increased energy damage affects the Noble Launcher. So this means that you can use that one compared to, for instance, the Urban Assault Headhunter, if you want to be going with that, to get a higher base damage on your rocket launcher. Whether or not you want to be focusing on getting a high damage on your rocket launcher as a main thing may not really be the case, but if you're going to be playing with energy weapons anyway, I feel that's a pretty cool thing. I wanted to test out the durability because I was unsure whether or not the durability meant shot fired or ammunition fired. So the first thing I did in regards to testing that was to fire a single shot. It used 1 durability charge. Then I charged it up here for 2 so that I could see, and it used again just 1 durability charge. So the durability on this weapon is based on the amount of times you fire it. You can fire it 30 times no matter if you charge it up or not. This means that it is more effective. You get more damage out of this weapon here for the durability of it by charging it up 3 scores every time. Of course, if you don't have enough husks for that, if you only have 1 mob, it doesn't really matter. But you get more out of this weapon by actually waiting up and letting it charge out because we don't have an ammo count. This here, guys, is where I found out why this weapon is insane, broken, amazing, the best. The way I pictured this weapon being used a lot was with tunnels, because it will allow you to use this piercing option in relation to any kind of base design, like have a kill tunnel without traps. That was the way I thought it could be used pretty efficiently. But then, by accident, I noticed that I could shoot through the walls. Yes, piercing means through anything. Not piercing through opponents. Piercing through freaking anything in the game. Not just including player-built structures, no. If you hit a stone, it's gonna break. If you hit, like, wood, it's gonna break. You can shoot through a cliffside. This is like the neon sniper, but like on steroids. It has crazy like the range is unbelievable. The area is unbelievable. And it doesn't it doesn't stop when it hits anything. It penetrates environment, it penetrates player-built structures, it penetrates all other opponents. You can chain stun things with this thing because you do have the impact on it. You can blow up propanes, exploders through things before they get to you. Like, it is the options with the Noble Launcher are beyond amazing. And ever since I found out that you could shoot through the environment with it, just as with the Neon Sniper, I spent hours playing out with this weapon here because the options are just unbelievable. And I was looking into, should I main this weapon here? Should this be my primary weapon from now on? Because when I play normally, I've said it a few times, it's grenade, shockwave, sometimes going commando. I rarely really fire a weapon. I actually mainly use a sword as my MGR because my abilities take out more things, and I don't want to be using my ammunition when I have 2 mobs left. Then I just take out my sword. Now I have my new energy sword. But with this one here, wow, spicing up my lingering pain field of grenade damageness, where I also have my stun options, means that I can now throw a grenade, most things will die, take damage for some time, they will get stunned, I can charge up my Noble Launcher, possibly stun them again while adding a new impact and durability, no, not durability, affliction stack onto the husks that are standing there stunned, taking damage. This weapon is unreal. I'm massively hyped about this weapon here. It is very fun to try to fire it in different ways, to try to figure out how can you get this disc of energy flying so that you can hit the things you want the way you want it. Try it out, jumping, angling, up cliffs, down cliffs, through caves. And one thing I found out that is really worth noting is that when you play around with this weapon here, you're gonna be smashing a lot of chests in the game. Like, there are many things that you want to normally go scout for, but this here deals damage to things you can normally break. So if you wanted to chop down a tree and you're shooting in that direction, it's gonna be gone. And the same, like, I have had empty caves because I've been fooling around with it. So, like, that is a thing worth keeping in mind, that you're gonna be destroying the environment in a completely different way because you have these piercing shots. Look at that stuff, they're crazy. Really, really fun times. I wanted to try the Noble Blaster out with my Marine Corps Ramirez. This is a support specialist. The important thing is that it says here, during the war cry where we get 40% additional damage, attack speed, chance to not use ammunition. One is mine. Your weapon takes 0 durability damage while war cry is active, but it also says sports of war. If using a ranged weapon, you have 25% to not spend ammo. The description here says your weapon will not spend durability while under the influence of war cry. It's a lie. It is not true. This is why I originally went into her, so that I could use my rocket launchers without ever breaking them, because they would be under the influence of war cry. And it doesn't really seem to be working, but there are many like it. It says your weapon takes 45% less durability damage while under the effect of war cry, and that appears to be working. It is something I have been testing out. There are many things I wanted to test out with Marine Corps Ramirez here, or the support specialist subclass, because what does it mean for me to have more ammunition? She also has increased ammo, so she has 4 of these shots in the barrel. Can I charge it up to 4? If I have another boost, can I charge it up to 5? Would I get a larger area of effect damage? Of course I don't. It also doesn't say in the weapon description that you can charge it up further, but it was worth a shot. This actually means that it is annoying for me to play this weapon with this character, because I normally think that this weapon here is something I want to charge up. So if I charge up this weapon, it's going to leave 1 ammunition back in the weapon, which means that I can't charge it up the next time, so I need to manually recharge it. So playing with 4 charges in the barrel was actually less efficient for me, because I had this 1 bonus shot that I kind of need, like, it forced me to reload by myself instead of just having the weapon also reload after firing the weapon. So, like, there are many things you can look into in relation to the Noble Launcher. How does it suit your playstyle? How does it suit your min-max ability? And here I'm just including, I have 27 durability, reloading my weapon up. I'm going war cry and I'm just blasting it out there, trying to see. I'm gonna fire 10 shots because that appears to be what I can do while war cry is in effect. You can see these arrow kind of things going upwards. That is while I am influenced by the war cry, and it ends pretty much as I reload the second time. I feel like it was 10 shots, but anyway, if we go in here, 21.5 durability is what it has reached now. So it is spending this durability. I think one of the places that a lot of players are going to be taking a huge advantage of this new Noble Launcher is in the Canny Valley Storm Shield defense missions, because we have these valleys, these cannies, these pathways, these small areas that match up with what you can charge up your Noble Launcher for, so you can actually ignore the defense kind of building in these areas if you have the Noble Launcher. Go down here, war cry up like crazy, a few people standing here going with 1.5 tiled energy penetrating, piercing, crazy affliction dealing damage weapon. Is gonna be absolutely amazing. This, guys, was my look into the Noble Launcher, what I think about it. I have to say, summarizing things, you can penetrate the environment. You have affliction energy damage that is good against everything in the game. It has 30 shots in the barrel, making it pretty decent for the cost considering that it is an energy weapon, and you can choose to fast fire it when you just go 1 charge at a time if you're up against something such as smashers or blasters. In my opinion, guys, this here is the best weapon we have in the game right now in the explosive category, but it comes down to it can penetrate the environment. If piercing ends up being changed so it won't be in the environment, it will no longer be as crazy a weapon. That thing, no matter how you want to be defending your base, your atlas, your whatever it is, taking out things from the comfort of your couch without, like, you don't even need a hole in the wall. You can take out things that are coming. That is a game-changing strategic options that we now have with the Neon Sniper and the Noble Launcher, and it's gonna change the game. That was what I had to share in this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. As always, thank you very much and very much for watching.